1987 to hold nuclear ambitions in check by developing new weapons.
At the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin and his ministers sent a clear message to Washington over the INF Treaty. You intend to pull out, do you? Well, two can play at that game.
Our response will be symmetrical. Our US partners announced that they are suspending their participation in the INF Treaty. So we are suspending it too.
And there was more. Moscow, President Putin said, would develop new weapons, including a land-based version of this cruise missile, and missiles more than 5 times the speed of sound. It's a far cry from US-Russian cooperation 3 decades ago, when Presidents Reagan and Gorbachev signed the INF Treaty. It eliminated a whole class of short and medium-range missiles and became a cornerstone of European security. But the chill in relations is palpable. It's beginning to feel like the Cold War is back. President Putin said the one thing he didn't want was Russia being dragged into a costly new arms race. But with both America and Russia now having suspended the INF Treaty, that is a huge blow to East-West arms control. The INF Treaty is breaking apart, and America blames Russia.
Russia has jeopardized United States security interests, and we can no longer be restricted by the treaty while Russia shamelessly violates it.
America says these Russian missiles violated the INF Treaty. Moscow denies it and claims Washington broke the agreement. A high-stakes blame game for the two biggest nuclear powers.
The Federal Water Minister has already rejected a number of key recommendations from the South Australian Royal Commission into the Murray-Darling. David Littleproud has rejected the push to increase the amount of water that is returned to the environment.
He's also definitively rejected the call to lift the cap on water buybacks and also to crack down on floodplain harvesting in the wake of water theft allegations. And the minister says there are now enough measures in place to police the waterways. He's been speaking with our National Regional Affairs reporter, Anna Henderson.
David Littleproud, thanks for joining Rural News. Can I firstly take you to the scathing criticism in this report about the Murray-Darling Basin Authority?
Of the Murray-Darling Basin Plan. For the first time in this nation's history, we have an agreement between the states and the Commonwealth and the management of the Murray-Darling Basin Plan, because we stopped calling people's names, we took the politics out of it, and we had leadership. And that's what we've achieved, and that's what we'll continue to do. We'll work through this report in a methodical and sensible way. There's learnings in any report, and you should never be afraid of that. But we'll continue on the journey that we've started. For the first time in this nation's history, we've achieved something we should be very proud of. It went right across political lines.
Well, hasn't this report put politics right back at the forefront? Gross maladministration, negligence and unlawful actions by a Commonwealth authority. That's the Murray-Darling Basin Authority, which is in charge of this basin plan. What are you going to do to further investigate those claims and decide whether or not this authority should continue to operate?
Well, look, it's nearly a 750-page document. I haven't seen any of the details that they've outlined, that there's been any malpractice or unlawful practice by the MDBA. That needs to be demonstrated. The reality is we've continued to make reform within the MDBA in making sure that they've delivered the programs that we put in place that the Parliament and that the people of Australia expect. And I think we've seen real outcomes, particularly in the last 12 months. I'll work through this report methodically. I'm not going to make any prejudgments